You're probably here because you noticed something new in Pokemon Go today. They're called Power Spots, and they're part of the new Dynamax feature that's fully rolling out about a week from now, on September 10th. Dynamax is a new feature that was introduced in the Gen 8 Pokemon games, and they're essentially like gigantic Pokemon that you battle with other gigantic Pokemon. And that's now coming to Pokemon Go as basically a new form of raids. They work similarly where you team up with other players to battle the Dynamax Pokemon at a power spot and then catch it, and then you get your own Dynamax Pokemon. Now the actual battles aren't coming out, like I said, until September 10th, so we're going to talk about that later in the video, at least what we know so far. But for now I want to focus on the Power Spots because you've probably interacted with them and you're maybe wondering what the heck is going on here. Right now, the main purpose of Power Spots is to collect max particles. When you visit a power stop, you can kind of tap on the screen to pick up the max particles. Every power spot you visit is going to give you 120 max particles, and the max particles, think of them like a raid pass. You need to use max particles to enter a Dynamax battle. Power Spots spawn a little bit differently than Pokestops and gyms, and they are temporary. That means they're going to move around. So if you opened up the game today and saw some Power Spots around you in your neighborhood, they're not going to be there all the time. They're actually going to close and open up in other locations throughout the day. That's why there's a timer. If you look at a Power Spot, it'll show you how much longer it's going to stay in that location. So you can kind of plan around that if you need to collect max particles, or once the battles start spawning, you'll know, that one's not going to be there tomorrow, but this one will, so I can go there to try to find a battle. It's confusing, I know, but just the most important thing to remember is that they're temporary. There's a timer that shows you how much longer they're going to be there, then they'll close up and move somewhere else. The locations that they spawn at are not based on points of interest like Pokestops that have been submitted. Right now, it seems like they're spawning at businesses. Niantic is pulling data from like Google businesses, maybe some other sources, some other databases, and they're spawning at just like businesses. So I was at businesses, and I've heard or seen from people's screenshots that if someone in your neighborhood has a Google business registered at their home address, sometimes a Power Spot can spawn there. Obviously, going to like a mall or a shopping center or any commercial area, you'll find plenty of Power Spots, but if you go on Google Maps and look in your suburban neighborhood and someone's registered a business at their home, a Power Spot could potentially spawn right there at their house. I don't know how long it's going to be that way, because if someone complains about it, people gathering in front of their house to do Dynamax battles, they might have to change up the system a little bit. But for now, that's how it works. It might not always be that way, but that's how it is right now. All right, so that's Power Spots. That's how they spawn and how they work. Let's talk about max particles. You saw me collect some. There is a limit to how many max particles you can hold. It's 1,000. You can hold up to 1,000 max particles, but there's also a separate daily limit to how many you can collect. You can collect 800 particles per day, but you can also go over the daily limit and over the full 1,000 limit. I know, the whole thing is pretty confusing, but think of it like your item bag. If you have one item slot open and you spin a Pokestop, you can go over your item limit. You'll get 3, 4, 5 items from the Pokestop, and then you'll be over the limit and you can't spin another Pokestop. You can't get more items after that. You can do the same thing with max particles, where if you get close to the limit and then collect more particles, you can go over the limit. So the two ways to collect max particles are by visiting Power Spots and by walking. Every 2 kilometers that you walk is going to earn you 300 max particles. Visiting a Power Spot, 120. Walking 2 kilometers, 300. And to claim that, you open up your Nearby. This is the new Nearby tab, and it has a Power Spot tab. And now I have 420, and my distance reset to 0. Now remember, like I said, the daily collection limit is 800. The max limit you can hold is 1,000. Now here's where things get unnecessarily complicated. If you're trying to maximize the amount of max particles that you collect in a day, 800, as close to the daily limit as possible, and then walk 2 kilometers and collect 300 particles. So right now I'm at 420. If I walked another 2 kilometers, I would be at 720. Then if I walked another 2 kilometers after that, I would go to 1,020. At 420, if I go visit 3 more Power Spots, I can collect a total of 360 from those, and that'll set me at 780 max particles for the day. 780. Then if I walk 2 kilometers and collect that, that's going to put me to 1,080. So really, the most efficient way to do it is walk 2 kilometers, visit 4 power spots, and then walk 2 kilometers. Essentially, the last thing you want to do each day is collect your 300 particles from walking 2 kilometers. Get as close as you can to the daily limit, collect 300. Of course, once you start spending those max particles on Dynamax battles, things are going to change, the numbers are going to change, but essentially, if you keep track of how many you collect every day, just get as close as you can to 800, and then make sure walking 2 kilometers or collecting the reward for walking 2 kilometers is the last thing you do each day. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to go visit some power spots, walk 2 kilometers, and I'll be back. All right? Wait here. There's a mosquito flying around here, and it's bitten me like 3 times already. Please let me know if you see it land on me. Okay, I'm back from my walk. I interacted with 3 power spots, so I'm now at 780 MP, and I also walked 2 kilometers, so when I claim 300 max particles, I'm gonna go over the limit for the day and the full limit. And also, when you reach 1,000 max particles for the first time, you're also gonna get an encounter with your first Dynamax Pokemon. So Professor says, cool, cool, cool. Whoa, what's that behind you? And you go to the Dynamax encounter screen. And actually, this can be shiny. You can get a shiny Dynamax Pokemon. Everyone's gonna get a Wooloo here. It's gonna be Dynamax Wooloo. This is the first one that you're gonna get to encounter. And you wanna keep this. I mean, it's a pretty normal, wow, Pokeball powers up as soon as you pick it up. So your Pokeball turns into this gigantic Pokeball, and you have to throw really far, actually, to hit these. Wow. That is a very different throw. 1, 2, 3. So this is your first Dynamax Pokemon that you're going to get. So here we go. I've caught my first Max Pokemon. These Pokemon can use powerful Max moves to battle Pokemon at power spots. We're going to talk about that next, but let's take a look. This is a Dynamax Pokemon. You can click Dynamax right here, and it'll Dynamax. So that's a Dynamax Wooloo right there. It doesn't show as Dynamax when it's your buddy. It doesn't show as Spirit as its moves. These are the moves that you can use in addition to your regular charge attack when you're doing max battles. So let's talk about those max battles. To start, the first 3 Pokemon that are going to be available in max battles are Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. And to enter a max battle, you have to have a Dynamax Pokemon. So don't transfer this first Wooloo that you get, otherwise you can't do the battles when they come out. Up to 4 people can join a battle together, and they can only be done in person. There's no remote max battles. 4 people, and you can bring 3 Pokemon. 3 max Pokemon. You can only bring in max Pokemon to the max battle. When you enter the battle, your Pokemon is not going to be Dynamaxed. It's going to be small, and then you'll use your regular moves and charge up a meter. When you charge up the meter, then you can Dynamax and you get access to the max moves. We're just going to go through this quickly because it's not actually out yet, and it's going to make more sense to just show it a week from now, but we'll go through it anyway. Max Guard, Max Strike, Max Spirit. Max Strike is actually the damaging move, Max Guard is like a shield, Max Spirit is a healing move. So hopefully, what I'm hoping is that these max battles are actually going to require some amount of strategy. It's not just going to be tap, 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 like raid battles. You might actually have to coordinate a little bit, shield at the appropriate time, heal, and Max Spirit heals you and your teammates. So it's a little bit more cooperative than an actual raid would be. The Dynamax move is actually based on the Pokemon's type. So a normal type Pokemon is going to have Max Strike. You can power them up. I would recommend not doing this yet. I mean, it doesn't cost that much candy. 100 candy, geez, and 40 XL candy to max it out. Look, let's not do that yet because we don't know how difficult these max battles are actually going to be. I have a week until it comes out, and I'm going to be able to get more max particles every day until then, but I'm still going to wait. There is a limit to the number of max moves you can use. You can see in this screenshot 2 max moves left, so you might actually have to coordinate with your team a little bit to make this happen. Though from the screenshots, the rewards don't seem great. Right now it's showing Golden Raspberry, 1 Rare Candy, Super Potion, 100 XP, and 10 Premier Balls. The Premier Balls obviously only used for the catch. then you can upgrade your rewards for 100 Pokecoins to get an extra rare candy, an extra 10 balls, an extra... Yeah, you can upgrade your rewards for Pokecoins. It's up to you. I haven't spent Pokecoins. I haven't bought Pokecoins or spent in a long time in Pokemon Go. So it's just another place that you can spend more money if you want to. But that, to me, that doesn't look worth it right now. The max battles, by the way, did I say this already? They take place at the power spots. The power spots that you've been going to and collecting your max particles will have max battles. I don't think every power spot is going to have a max battle all the time. It'll probably just pop up occasionally, like raids, but they do cost max points to enter. The screenshots here for the starters shows 250, and then I'm assuming that there's going to be tiers to it like raids, so 1,000 max points for like if they put legendaries or something in like a 5-star max battle. It'll probably cost 1,000 MP, but at 250 each, that means you could realistically do 3 to 4 max battles per day for free, just by walking and collecting max points from visiting power spots. You can also buy max points in the shop, so if you want to do more, I guess. Now, max battles aren't the only way to get Dynamax Pokemon. Like you just saw, I got one, the Wooloo, the first Wooloo that everyone gets. This special research, the new one, to the max, also rewards Dynamax Pokemon. So here's... Pokemon do also have IVs, just like regular Pokemon, so they can be better or worse in that regard. And according to LeakDuck, the reward for step 2 here is a max Squavit. Now, in addition to the research and from completing battles, you can also get max Pokemon in the wild near power spots. After you finish a max battle, you can leave one of your max Pokemon at the power spot, and the more Pokemon there are at the power spot, the more likely max Pokemon are to spawn in the wild around the power spot. Max Pokemon show that they're max Pokemon in your inventory. They have the little Dynamax icon, and they can be powered up and evolved just like normal Pokemon. So I'm gonna go ahead and evolve my Max Wooloo here. And now I have a Dynamax capable Dubwool. So I think that covers everything we understand so far about power spots, max particles, max battles. Like I said, September 10th, they're coming out, and once they're actually out, I'll make another video showing you all of this rather than just telling you, because I think it's all easier to grasp once you actually get to see it. I'm still confused a little bit. So let me know if you have any questions, leave a comment, and then hopefully I'll be able to answer those in the next video once everything's actually available and I can show you how it works. And I guess for those of you who've been wondering where I've been, pretty much right here in my garage, building a kitchen, building my kitchen, working on my house. I've just been, yeah, it's been busy. My highest priority right now is to get my house to like a fully functional state. It's been a really fun project. I am enjoying it. It's exhausting. It's taking way longer than I expected it to. Whole video about that will be coming out eventually. You know how it goes. We're still not fully unpacked. Half our stuff's in boxes here in the garage. Moving it, it takes a long time. It takes a long time to move into a new house, especially when you don't have a kitchen to start with. Anyway, more on that later. Thanks for watching. Comments, let me know if you have questions. If you missed the last video about the new season right here, the new Pokemon, check